Our first panel consists of Mikel Arana, Director General of the DGOJ, and Birgitte Sand, CEO of Birgitte Sand and Associates, and of course former Executive Director of Denmark's national gambling regulator. The panel is titled, aptly I think, Moving Forward in a Highly Regulated Market. Mikel, Birgitte, please make it to the stage and thank you for being here. There was no step there. Please have a seat. Mikel, welcome back.
Thank you. Go ahead. Oops.
So, hello everyone. Lovely to see so many new faces and also some familiar ones. So great to be here, and thank you for inviting me, Willem, and team, of course. And great to see you back on stage, Mikel.
Thank you.
So we've already met, and it's a great pleasure that I'm now going to have a little bit of a dialogue with you, a few questions for you, and then we will turn to the audience as well, and have a few questions from you, hopefully as well. So there's so many questions, right, that we all want answers for. but one would be, of course, having the regulator in the room. So looking at the Spanish market right now, the current state of the market. So what do you think about how does it look like? I mean, many of us have got used to the Spanish market working quite well, good statistics, good data, good news. But what are your opinion on the current state of the market?
Well, I would say, first of all, that it's a mature market. It's been 12 years now since it was regulated. There were 10 years where there was the principal regulation, the law, and a couple of royal decrees, technical decrees. And they passed like 10 years with no other regulation. And the last 3 years, it's true that it's been like a stress on regulation. But from a point of view, because there was a need of regulating the market where the operators didn't self-regulate themselves. Right. And when I say mostly what it has to do with the commercial communications, I think that it's a fact that the last 4 years before the royal decree on commercial communications, the expenditures on marketing, it was increasing huge, right, terribly. It was increasing absolutely, not only looking to the players, but in the general, looking to all the country. In fact, I remember at the time of the COVID, the time of the time we had to be at our homes, the presence of gambling commercials on audiovisual, it was terrible, all time, all day. We were all in our houses, and the people that was watching television, there were many commercials. I think that got to a top, right. And probably that's why Jorge said before, right? It's, why do we have to explain? Why do we have somehow to ask for forgiveness? Well, maybe that's why, because most of the citizens, and let's think that in Spain, we have mostly 50% of people who plays lottery, and then we have 1.5 million that gamble online or offline. So it's a short, I mean, it's few people. And the publicity, it was all spread for all of us. Right. So it got a point when I think people get quite annoyed of that kind of publicity. At that point, we understood that the self-regulation didn't work, and that's why we decided to approve the royal decree. And the contrary of what Jorge said before, what we see is that the number of players keep increasing. What we see is that GGR increases. So we see a mature market where things, I think, are reasonably working out. And in the middle term, I think that's going to be it will be a stay. I don't know if it has room either to grow much more on players. I mean, because I think it got to a top too. But I think it's a quite well healthy market.
So, looking at your time so far as Director General as a Spanish regulator, How has it been? You've been busy.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been very busy. Well, indeed, I was named a general director on Pandemia, so the beginning was very strange because it was like when I'm not from Madrid, I'm from Bilbao. So when I came to Madrid, Madrid was empty. But the online gambling companies kept on going, but at the point all the sports gambling disappeared. So it was like a very dystopic market at that point, right? And well, at the beginning it was complicated. I mean, I'm not coming from the gamble sector either. I come from the administration sector. So let's say that I knew something about administration, not much more about gambling. I learned about both of them in this 3 years. I think it's been an intense 3 years. And but I think, well, I'm happy, right? And I must say also that the DGOJ people, the team, it's so good that mainly they do not need a general director; it goes by itself. But so they helped me very much from the very beginning, and it's been.
I think we all need a general director, right? You're here, we need you here as well. So comparing with the markets we just heard about from Martin Høyer, describing the European market and the developments through time. So does the Spanish market stand out in any way? Is it more or less similar to the rest of the markets in Europe, would you say?
Well, I think its market is different, and it also depends on their historic relationship with gambling or with playing lotteries in Spain. They have lots of tradition. So it's like lotteries, gambling. I come from the Basque Country. Basque Country gambling is absolutely usual, and we play to everything. So it's something that it had a quite, let's say, good reputation. So at the beginning, when the online gambling market it got regulated, I think it was maybe there are other countries where they do not have this tradition of gambling. There are others like United Kingdom, for example, that they go further. Right. So I think each country makes a little bit their own way. But the thing is that most of the regulators are going to the same place in different rhythms and different speeds with different tools. But I think we are going all to the same place. That was where we've been here talking all this morning. I mean, to guarantee a safe environment for our players. So the gambling activity, it's not a problem. It just gets like an activity like any other activity. And I think with different, as I tell you, with different tools and different rhythms, that's the point where we are going to. So I think there are differences, but there are things that are quite similar.
So we listened to the Online Gambling Association earlier today, and apart from talking about having to explain themselves, why they're not all bad guys, but also trying their best. Is that your experience as well? Do they want to collaborate, industry as such, not the association so much, but more in general? Would you say that the legal licensed operators in Spain are trying to collaborate? Do they get it? Do they support the degrees and the initiatives?
Well, I think here's a difference between what they say and what they do. Okay. The thing is that, as we said before, it's been like 10 years with no other regulation than the basic regulation. And in 3 years, and I agree with them, it's been like a stress in regulation. So that it makes that the operators, first of all, they put some kind of reserves. It's like you are regulating too much in very short period of time. So I want to collaborate with you, but I don't like what you're doing. So that's it. It gets like a point of some kind of difficulty because the commercial communications royal decree it's on court because the operator decided to throw it to court. I mean, they don't like it. That's obvious, right? Yeah. They went to court to try to put it down. Yeah. So it's not been easy. But I think there are some points where we may agree. For example, it's a point where we agree absolutely with where it has to do with fighting with the illegal gambling. I mean that's That's a very important point for the DGOJ too. It's absolutely important for the operator. So I think that's the point where we agree, all of us. And then I think that as long as the regulation keep on going, and we see how do they, on the middle term, which effect do they have in the market, probably will be easier. But I assume that at the very beginning it's with like lots of regulation in very short time. It's not going on the way that we want it. So we want to collaborate with you, but let's see if I don't know, you make things different. So, but besides that, I think the relationship is good. I mean, it's absolutely, we are all adults and we know what's this about. But as I told you, I mean, two royal decrees, one is on court, so that gives you a little bit a clue of how are the things going.
So you expect, as I hear you, you expect collaboration will be part of, obviously, everyday life as you move ahead, right? I mean, you will reach out to each other as the degrees come in force and everybody get adjusted and used to the new world, right? Yeah,
I think it's going to be easier if, as we presume, this royal decree will not go against the market, because we heard Jorge before saying that all this regulation is going against the market, that it's weakening the market. Our data does not say that, and we are sure that that's not going to happen. If we are right, in the middle term, and I hope we are, because we are not here to damage anyone, and even less the market, if we are right, the things are going to be easy, and probably will be, well, okay, maybe we want it in another way, but right now we have a very safe environment, and that's good for us, and then we'll have different issues to work on, because, well, this first package of regulation is like very radical, let's say, in what it was comparing to what it was before. And from now on, things are going to be easy. As I tell you, the fight against illegal gambling, and not only illegal portals, but phishing and all those kind of techniques that the illegal people are using, I think we're going to get together there.
Right. So I heard you very stressing the value of data, and also, to my understanding, the degrees are based on really the development in data regarding the market. So the role of data is important to you. Is it sort of like the more scientific approach? You base your decisions and your degrees and so forth in Spain on data, and not only on assumptions and feelings, if I get it right?
Yes, and I think that's very important. First of all, because when you regulate based on data, you can go to a meeting like this one and say, well, this is my data, and according to this data, this is the decision I take. With the same data, maybe there's someone that will take another decision, but there is some kind of security that the things or the measures we are taking, they are looking only for one single purpose, which is trying to balance the market. Because as I said before, there is an imbalance in Spain where very few people waste a lot of money. So let's try to balance that. Right. I think that's something that, independently who's in charge in the general elections, I mean, probably will continue ongoing of that job. And in the middle term, probably, if you are not regulating just because your political program says so, or just because you have at the point some social pressure, but because you have data that are helping you on that way, probably things are going to be easier, and the security that the market needs, it will be, well, more secure than if you start from a day to another changing opinion and making things just because, I don't know, someone said so.
Right. So thank you so much, Mikel. So far, so good. So I believe we might have, we might have some questions for you from the audience. Now is your golden chance to actually ask the regulator some questions, please.
Any questions from?
Don't be shy.
It's not obligatory either, right? I
mean, we know where you
live.
You
don't want to make any question, we can go to the coffee break. No problem.
Let's have Entain.
It's a question and maybe a slight challenge on the advertising, because this is not the only jurisdiction in Europe that's looking at advertising, and we've seen it in others. And there are two bits to it. The first one is, I totally get during COVID what happened, and I think we can be, as an industry, guilty of going too far in advertising. I think that is a genuine concern. And it's not. I think Sweden is another fantastic example of where that happened. But on one side, you're saying that you want to make this business much more recreational because it's the intensive players and the high percentage of revenue from a few customers, which is your real concern, which I completely understand. On the other side, the only way to get a more recreational base of business and more people spending less money, which is what I think we all want, is to be able to market your product to those people. And that's the dichotomy I think that we're always in, because with the advertising bans around, we've become more and more reliant on the high intensity customers. We can't get that mass market in that we used to get with all the advertising. I think that's just one of the challenges I'd like to throw back to a regulator I know is really thinking about this at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I understood what the question, but well, first of all, there's no ban here in Spain. I mean, what we have is it's limited, restricted very much, I agree, but there's no ban. So I think that's an important point. Not that much because of the audiovisual from 1 to 5. I assume that's not a very good time to make publicity, even if it's only that kind of publicity from 1 to 5 in Spain. That's also true, but I assume that that's the thing is that since there is no ban, people who may be interested in a gamble will get that kind of publicity. I mean, on social networks, if you are a follower of a couple of accounts of operators and you like gaming, and Facebook will send you lots of publicity. In Google, you will get publicity. So it's not that it's a ban. And when you say that's the part that I don't know if I understand it well. You say, well, there's a concern on few people spending a lot. If we will have more people playing, probably we can concentrate in the other ones. The thing is that the size of the market in Spain before and after the Royal Decree on Commercial Communication is quite of the same. I mean, there's not been such a decrease on new players. There's not been, there wasn't so many new players getting into the market before the Royal Decree when publicity was all the time on television. So what we assume is that it is growing, well, at the rhythm that it should, a market that already has 12 years, where the oldest people are very small percentage, new people are getting in, but it has a top. I mean, this is not like, I don't know, buying milk. Almost everybody drinks milk. There's people who doesn't want to play, not because they have any prejudice about gambling, but just they don't like it. So when you say, if there will be more players, there will be less intense player. Our data don't say that.
So all I would say is that globally, and I think we've got a decent view globally of each market, we do see that most of the large operators want to move to much more recreational customer base, which is a large number of small customers. It's more towards the lottery area of how successful countries have been. And actually that's what lotteries are. Lots of people with very small bets. And as lotteries start dropping, which they are with age demographics, this is where we actually see as a growth method for our industry. But the key to that is be able to get the mass market message out there in a safe, responsible, careful way. And no rules on advertising, as you rightly say, haven't worked in many markets. But when we've seen other markets where there's restrictions put in, what you end up with is this concentration of high customers. And that's actually not good for a company, not good for a regulator, or good for the people. It's not good for all three. It's just something maybe to think about when, as you analyse your advertising restrictions. That the large number of small customers, which lotteries have in Spain today, and as the age demographics change, that will change. It's getting the message that licensed operators can provide a service to people is really quite important, because that's what builds a healthy and safe industry for the future.
So, Mikel, does that soften you a bit, or are you still saying that data shows that Spain is actually doing quite well in that sense, that there hasn't been a sincere drop in legal sort of players playing on legal sites since you had the change in advertising regulation? It's still working quite fine to your understanding?
Well, the thing is that we have a couple of years, which are the pandemic years, that
right. Yeah.
Move everything. So the data, it's kind of hard to analyze. But if we take the last 10 years, for example, the growth of new players, take out those years of pandemic, the growth it's going somewhat on a linear way. I mean, we had now we have 1.6 million players. 5 years ago we have I think it was 1.2. So I mean it's growing, but it's growing on a rhythm. And the thing is that the intense players do get intense because of there's no way to make publicity as before, or because the operators understand that they have the chance to get more people playing there. So maybe that's another reflection we can do too. I mean, and that's why the royal decree on safer gambling, because as I said before, there are companies in Spain with a high responsible policy, but there are companies in Spain with a very low responsible company policy. So maybe what it happens is that all those who have such an intense playing behavior is because they get so much publicity just for them, just from some type of companies, that somehow they, I wouldn't say force, but they invite them very much to spend much more money that it will be good for them to do.
So if there's no more questions from...
Sorry, there was one question from before I want to... So there have been regulatory developments in the past 10 years. But Mikel, where do you stand on one, licensing windows? Your thoughts on that? And two, possible new product introductions like live blackjack that we've been heard about before. I think that's a question that some of the people here have asked us.
Well, about the licensing, what we have thought, and there may be people who agree, who's not, but what we have thought is, since we are changing all the market in 3 years, it seems reasonable to wait a little bit to the market settle down, the operators who are making new investment, get revenue of those investment, and then we'll open to new competitors. That's our thought. That's a thought. I mean, someone can come here to me and tell me the opposite, probably, with another reason. That's not that. That's our thought. First of all, and about new games, it's true that this market is changing every day. So we are very concerned about those new games, and we are not closed to start thinking about new things that are happening, new things that are going around. And there's not such like a negative to start thinking about all the kind of gaming or the kind of games. But as we saw, we are very busy with the changes that we are making. We cannot change everything at the same time, but there's not a decision taking. It's not like there's not going to be, let's say, online live gambling in Spain, for example, or live roulette. Or we must think about it. We'll very attend to what's going on.
Great. I think there was one more question for the room. Quick question, Mauro. If you can please state your name and company.
Thank you. It's Mauro De Fabritis from MDF Partners. I have just a simple question. And if we look at the channeling around Europe, the most of the countries are regulated. At the incidence of online, it's on average more than 20%. Even Italy moved from 10 to 20%. Spain right now, it's 11% more or less at the end of 2022. So my question is, what about looking on the effects of the restrictions in terms of the increasing of the online incidents on the total? Because the online channel protect the customer and allows the regulator to look at the demographics of the gamblers. So having people in the online, it's something that make the industry safer and controlled. So there is, on your opinion, that's my question, a risk that having a lot of restrictions in terms of the way operators can communicate through the promotion could create an illegal industry on parallel, and on the other way to influence the natural process of the increasing of the online incidents according to the European standard. Thank you.
Well, I mean, it's what we said before. It's not that much my opinion. It's that our data shows that it's not happening. So if we see in the middle term that there is not easy to explain a stop on the growth of the market, and the GGR falls down right away, and those kind of things happen, well, we'll study what's going on. But so far, it's not happening. So what we said before, when we talk and we compare ourselves to different countries, maybe we should think not only about online gaming, but about online shopping or online businesses. Or I mean, online in Spain, it's not as strong as it may be in another country. So in gaming, it may happen the same too. So probably we cannot take just the data from one and compare with, let's say, Sweden. Well, let's make a general study of the data, and after that we'll see what's going on. But as I tell you, we are not seeing that. I mean, because the GGR, I mean, if in a market you get new players, the GGR goes up, I think the market is growing, right? I mean, what other issues should we control? I think, well, the market is going in the same rhythm. Besides, as I told you, the years of the pandemic where there was no sports to gamble, so they trapped, and there are many. They're getting changes because I don't know, casino is going and gambling is going down, but at the end of the day, the average is kind of the same that it was before. So far, we are not seeing that effect that some of the operators or the industry say it will happen.
So one final question for you, Mikel. So if I understand you right, you expect the Spanish market to benefit from the latest decree and to actually strike a good balance or even a growth in the legal market? Do you think it's the right way to deal with illegal market, to have these safer gambling initiatives in place? Do you think it will
I think
create a better market?
No, I think they have nothing to do one with another. I mean, we must fight the legal market independently of what's going on in the legal market. Our regulation issue is one, our illegal market is another one. If we make the mistake, I think it will be a mistake, and that's also a personal opinion, if we make the mistake of starting to try to look to the illegal market to see how we manage the legal market and vice versa, I think we're making a mistake. We must fight the legal market no matter what. And in that, and there I think where operators also can help us very much. We can help them, and we should work together against that illegal market and all that it has to do with illegal market and betting. I mean, when they manipulate competitions and all those things, that must be fighted independently of what's going on in the legal market.
So you're saying taking care of players, creating a more safe environment, will not in any way, I wouldn't dare to say obviously, but would not in any way damage the legal market, in a sense, push players away to an illegal market. It will most likely keep players safe and entertained, and they will stay in the legal market, being treated well. You expect that to happen?
Well, they should.
Yeah,
first of all, they should. Yeah. And second of all, if a player in a legal market like a Spanish market, where he can play wherever he wants with some limits, and decides to go to a legal market, that's his decision, and with many risks. And when he gets to the risk, then you have some consequences, and then you cannot come back to the regulatory and say, I went to the legal market and this happened to me. Well, you shouldn't go there. Right. What I have to do is fight the legal market, first of all, and I have to guarantee a safe legal market. That's that's our two goals. So they go, as I tell you, in parallel ways.
Right. So you would still be strong on fighting the illegal market, and at the same time implement all the changes about safe gambling in Spain.
That's the idea.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
it was
very
a
much.
pleasure and an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.